Hello there, lovely people. It's a beautiful morning and it's time for us to unpack. My name is Sofa, and whenever you see me, you know we're going to have a great conversation. Today, I have a very special guest with me. She's not here with me in the studio, she's here via Zoom, but it doesn't change anything. We're still going to have a very hearty conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's introduce the lovely, the ever sweet Queen Drie.
Hi.
Hey! Oh, I like the bright smile. You like the
Hello.
introduction, don't you?
That was a lovely intro. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I'm glad
You
to be here.
are lovely as well. I'm also excited to have you here. Now, I want us to start, even though we're going to get straight into the music, right? Let's talk about who Queen Drie is. If anyone has to find out, or if I'm asked a question, who is Queen Drie? What exactly am I supposed to say?
So that's a big question to
Mm.
start. Queen Dre is just a girl from Dakoma, a
Okay.
girl who grew up, as many of us did. And, we grew up in these harsh countries and we finally found our way and things are working out for us. And we're still pursuing our goals and still pursuing our dreams. So Queen Dre is just a girl from Dakoma who is pursuing her dreams.
Okay, the girl from Darkman who is pursuing her dreams, and I'm sure these dreams are heavily on music. Am I right? Or we have other dreams that we're
Yes,
pursuing,
we have other dreams.
like
We have other dreams. So I actually went to school for psychology. So one
oh
of my
wow,
dreams is to be able to serve as a resource in Ghana because I know
okay,
that a lot of us, like I said, we grew up in Ghana. We all know the conditions and the realities. A lot of
definitely.
us need that help. So that's one of my goals as well.
Awesome. Now, before we get into the music bit, talking about psychology, what do you think about that scene here in Ghana, and what do you want to change or add to it when you get back?
So I think during my research, I found that we have, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have about like 20 therapists in Ghana, if I'm not
Wow.
mistaken.
Okay.
Which the stats are really low, and that's a problem because
Yeah.
even in countries like here we have a lot of resources, and if you
Okay.
have countries in like that are going through a lot, like
Yeah.
corruption and all these things that we go through, a lot of people need that help. So
Yeah.
I think that's something I want to change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be looking forward to it. We can't wait for you to get back and do what you want to do for us with regard to psychology. But let's talk about music and the new music. And I love the title of it's an EP, right? I hope this helps.
Yes, I
That
hope it does.
you hope it does, right? Now, let's talk about the title of the EP before we talk about the inspiration. Where did this title come from? What's it stemming from? What does it mean? What message do you want to convey when anyone hears the title of the EP? I hope this helps.
Well, I think it's almost like when a friend tells you they have a headache and you
Mm-hmm.
tell them, "Oh, I tried this and that and it worked. Therefore, here you go. And
I
I hope
hope it
this helps."
helps
It's not a
you.
promise of
Yeah.
it's going to fix it. It's like maybe it will because it worked for me. So
Yeah.
that's what the title is. Yeah.
Okay. But so what would you say worked for you that you put in this EP?
The EP itself talks about like, growth,
Mm-hmm.
growing and finding your own voice, getting to that point where it's like, this is who I was taught to be, but this is who I want to be. Finding that shift and, trusting yourself. There's a lot about faith and God, and
Yeah.
there's a lot about, personal growth and strengthening your mind and, that mental fortitude.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. And I hope people will really listen because I think it's songs that you have to listen for the meaning, and then when you do listen and you get to that point, I think it's really going to help. Well, at
It's
least I hope it does.
At least you hope it does. I love it. And I like the word play. Is that something that you enjoy?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. I
I
have
can
my
tell.
little inside jokes.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. Now, would you say that having mental fortitude in this space has been really good for you? Or you would say that, you haven't really had that and it's been tough for you?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I don't think there's a straight answer. I think that there's been moments where I didn't have mental fortitude.
Mm,
There's been moments where I've had to struggle through it.
yeah.
Being a creative and also just being a young woman in the world, And it's something that I'm working towards. So I wouldn't say I have mental fortitude, but it's something that I work towards.
Something that
Yes.
you work toward. I think that's a very honest answer. Now, talking about honest, you've also mentioned that this body of work is a very honest reflection of your journey through awakening and growth, right? Now, can you walk us through
Mhm.
that journey? You know, what it's been like for you? What are some of the highs and the lows, especially in making I Hope This Helps?
It's a wonderful question. Wow. I mean, the journey has been beautiful. It's been hard. You know, you have these dreams of making music and creating art,
Yeah.
but then you also have the realities of financial constraints, you know, and
Yeah.
then also being caught in two worlds. I feel like as an artist and as a rapper, you know, we love a certain type of rap and we love certain contexts and certain topics. And then being from someone from the household that I'm from, and you know, like the things we're talking about with mental fortitude and all of that, it's it makes it a little challenging because you know what the audience wants and you know how to make the music that people want to listen to, but then you also know who you are and who you're like trying to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
So the journey has been, yeah, it's been quite interesting. I've experimented, I've tried different things like Ferrari, it's lit, you know, Afro, it's you know,
Hey, it's a
it's
good mix. It's a good mix, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of challenges, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of them also comes from people giving advice,
Mm.
like I probably am giving on this project, but
Okay.
it's come from a lot of people who have come from good places. You know, when it came to Ghana, people wanted to help me and stuff, but every time someone wants to take you in a different direction, like if you
Mm.
like me and what I'm doing, then why are you telling me to do something else?
Yeah, I
So
get
those have
that.
been some of the challenges. Yeah.
The projection, it's a very Ghanaian thing for people to project. But I want us to talk
Thank
about the
you.
track list and you know what we'll be getting in there because this is not out. When is it coming out?
This is actually out.
It's out now.
It's out on Friday.
It's out on Friday. Okay, okay. And so we'll get to take a listen to it. Now, let us know what we'll be getting in this particular EP. I'm seeing the title. The very first one is Nothing is the Same. Then we have Yas Curse Interlude. And then we have Get Up. We have Authenticity, Woman, and Tell Me What You Want, featuring Kokusi. And so in entirety, before we break down the music, right? What this pack giving? What genres do we expect in this six pack EP?
Okay, so the first two tracks are reggae fusion, contemporary reggae fusion,
Okay.
um, and then we have hip hop on authenticity, and
Mm,
then we have an Afro fusion rap on woman, and then tell me what you want is Afro fusion.
wow. Okay. How about Get Up?
Get Up is also reggae fusion.
Oh, okay. So
So
first
Yas
three.
Curse is actually
Okay.
just a speech. It's a speech from someone in Jamaica.
Ooh. Okay. Tell me about Yaskers. What exactly is a theme over there?
Yas Curse is actually something I wrote. It's a poem that I wrote, and I wrote it and have someone perform it in patois. When God tells you something, or when God opens your eyes, or
Mm.
when He gives you that mental clarity, it comes as a curse as well because there's a burden. You know, seeing the
Yeah.
reality of the world around you. Exactly. And knowing that we're spirit beings in a physical world and, you know, all these different things, but then also having to still get up and go get a job, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Regardless.
you can't just live in the abstract. Yes.
I totally get you where, you know, there's a surface level stuff and then there's, you know, there's a superpower above, you know, that there's this world is mostly spiritual. It's made of a lot of spiritual things. Even the music you make is spiritual. That's how music can heal people. You know, music can ease people's minds and all of that. But you still need to wake up and go get a job, like you said. And so I think I'll be looking at. I need to take a particular listen to that. But tell us also about your collaboration with Kokusi on it. Tell me what you want.
Tell me what you want. It's one of my favorite songs. It's the only love
Okay.
song on there.
Oh.
And it's interesting because Cookie's doesn't make a love song.
Yeah, you know, he's always talking about um current happenings, sorry, current happenings, and yeah, that's usually what I know him for. Things that are happening that need a voice. He's always lending his voice to that, and so yeah, tell us how this happened.
I love that you said that because when I first conceptualized the song, it was actually a voice note, and Kokosi had
Oh,
come here the year prior. He came to Chicago the year
okay,
before. With him, my mom, my brother, we all talked, and we
okay,
talked about next generation. Having children and
mm-hmm.
thinking, living our lives with that goal in mind.
Yeah,
Creating a stable household, how we're going to raise children, and all of that.
yeah.
Um, and so when this song came to my mind, when I conceptualized the love song, it's not just your typical love song where it's like, oh, Nicole, it was about encouraging men to speak up in a relationship and to take up space as well. So
Hmm.
that's why I love what you said about Focusy lending his voice to things that, need a voice. And this
Yeah,
was a topic that I felt like he hasn't made a love song. I wanted to pick his mind and for him to exactly lend that perspective
yeah.
into the song. So when I sent it to him, of course he was like, "Makacho semenyo donyo." And I was like, wait, hold up. I think you might like this. This is where I'm coming from. And we talked about the themes of it, and he loved it. He wanted to challenge himself and to do something outside of his comfort zone. And he did it. And I'm glad he did. It's
So
beautiful.
okay, that's really exciting. I can't wait to hear what he did on there because I know what he can do when it comes to current issues and topics. But I like he said, it's not something he does, and so I'm really looking forward to this one. But let's also talk about the cover art. I'm looking at it right now, and it's quite interesting. The way you're sitting and having your hair hang out, your feet up. Is there any meaning that anyone should be reading from there?
There's a lot of meaning
Okay.
there. Like I said, as a girl from Dakuma, you go where your brothers go and all of that. So you take on this energy of just like rebelliousness and this energy of a daring spirit and trying something new, breaking the rules. So that's where that comes from. I wanted to lean into myself. And funny enough, when we're taking the pictures, it was the only picture that really caught my eye because it was the picture that I was just being my free self.
Mm.
And I think it breaks the rules of being a woman, like choosing to sit with my leg up. I don't know
Yeah.
if this is TMI, but when you, as a woman, when you become a woman,
Yeah.
they tell you, oh, now you have to sit a certain way. Now
Yes.
you can't have your legs up or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to just be like, I just want to be myself.
Okay.
And the song on there, Woman, is
Yeah.
about empowering women. So,
Mm.
we're sitting like bosses and that's it.
Would you consider yourself
Yeah.
stubborn growing up?
Stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure my family is watching this, so I can't lie.
So don't lie. Tell me the truth.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Are you sure that your mom won't be shouting, "Hey, hey, no, that's not true"?
Maybe
Maybe,
sure.
maybe. Okay. Now, I want to ask how your Ghanaian influences, growing up, seeing life, have influenced any of these tracks in this EP.
I would say they're probably more heavily on "Tell Me What You Want," but
Okay.
I'll also say just as a Ghanaian growing up, we listen to a lot of different sounds.
Yeah.
Especially reggae in the household.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say, like, as a Ghanaian as well, you learn to appreciate deep music because a
Mm.
lot of even our stories were deep. They're
Mm-hmm.
layered. The Guanasa story is not just a story. There's
No.
always like a meaning there.
Yeah. It's
So
always
there's a
a
lot
twist.
of being Ghanaian that shows up in there. Maybe not sonically, right?
Okay.
But in the lessons for sure.
Okay. Okay. Now, in exploring, genres, right? Did it ever occur to you to, step outside your comfort zone? And what would you describe as your comfort zone when it comes to making music?
Mhm. I would say my comfort zone probably be heavily like rap
Mm.
and the projects. So this is funny because this is the third time I've tried to start create a EP. And each time it sounds different. The first time was when I came to Ghana in 2021. So the project was heavily Ghanaian. And then when I came back and created another project, it was heavily hip hop,
Mm.
being from Chicago. So this is the version where I've never done a reggae song and actually create something fresh and different. So I
Mm.
don't have songs that sound like the songs on the project. They're all very, very, very experimental.
I see. Very, very experimental, but you're not worried about, because usually when people expect to rap from a person and then from an artist, but your partner, you start to probably sing, they go like, okay, maybe this is new. And are you worried about how people are going to, receive the new stuff that you're experimenting with?
When I started, I thought, because when you have a hit song, like Afrobeat hit songs or whatever, it's gonna work in the market. You don't overthink it. You don't
No,
second guess it.
it's commercial.
But exactly. So exactly. So coming out with something that seems a little conscious, a little different, very experimental. I was in my head a little bit, but then I thought this is the best time. This is my first EP. It's the best time for me to be, experimenting, to try new things. We're only gonna get better. We're only gonna have more things. So why not speak now? Why not try something crazy now? Like, and then the sooner my listeners find out that I'm wild, the earlier they can just get on board.
I totally agree with that. The earlier they can get on board, get in there with you. And it's always really good to show who you are, show yourself through and through. And then when people get that, okay, this is Queen Drie, and they get on in the bandwagon with you, they're good to go. You have them loyal as fans forever and ever, okay? Now, still talking about listeners, I want to know how you hope that people would assimilate or take in this particular body of work. What are you projecting that people would take from I hope this helps?
That's a wonderful question. I want to have more conversation. I think that's what I want this project to do. I want us to talk about things because nothing is the same. It's like a nostalgic thing.
Okay.
It talks about how we were. It seems like things have changed so much, like artificial intelligence, whatever it is. We're living in a world where it's getting harder and harder to know the difference between reality and just like things that don't exist.
Tell me
Yes.
about it.
Yeah. So I want us to have more conversation. I want us to talk about the
Yeah.
real things. We can have fun, we could party. But after the party ends, let's sit down and let's have a conversation.
Yeah. Wow. That is very genuine. That is tough. And usually there's so much noise. And when I say noise, I don't mean actual noise. Like there's so much happening. Most of the time you can't even concentrate on anything. And so sparking a conversation that allows people to breathe, take a seat and have real conversations with each other, devoid of any of the new things that are going on, is really, really genuine. It's great. And I think that is a really nice message that you're trying to send out there. Hopefully your listeners will be able to get this from I hope this helps. And I totally agree with the title of the EP after talking to you, even though I haven't listened yet. So now I need to go take a listen so that it will now be sealed and I'll have the full cover. See why I love my job. So good. I get to talk to you and then listen to the music. See, amazing. Wow. And now talking about promotional work, I think your team and yourself have done amazing reaching out to Three Music TV to have this particular conversation. But beyond this, what else are you doing to promote the music? Also, because you're not here, and how easy or difficult is it to promote there, and also in Ghana?
Yeah, existing in two worlds is not easy
Yeah.
because you're trying to gauge. I mean, even when it comes to content creation, you're trying to gauge what time Ghanaians wake up and the time difference and
Right?
what Ghanaians will like
Yeah.
and what Americans will like or what different communities, Black people, Ghanaians here, So it's a lot of different moving parts, but I'll say we're working on content.
Okay.
For this project, we're going heavy content based
Okay.
because again, we don't have the big budget of like labels and stuff. You're independent, things are hard. So we're going with a more creative approach. That's what we're going to be doing, and I'm really glad, honestly, to have this conversation because I don't I don't know how I'm gonna get another opportunity like this to talk to Three Music TV. So I'm really glad to do this. But outside of that, we're doing content based.
That's beautiful. We're always happy to help promising, amazing, genuine talent, which is something I believe you have. And so I'm really excited. I can't wait to see all the creative stuff that you will be working on. But also, before I wrap up, do you think that sometimes all the fast trends affect, music lovers and does not allow them to take a listen to deep music, like the music that you create?
100%. 100%. And I love that you said something about noise
Yeah.
because there's so much noise,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I feel like underneath it all, people are just, we're drifting farther and farther away from ourselves.
Yeah.
And I wanted us to reconnect and I wanted us to get back to the roots. So yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
100% agree with you.
Yeah. Finally, are we thinking of touring? Are you coming to Ghana? Because my producer really wants to meet you in person. So I don't know.
Would love to. Oh my God. I want to come to Ghana. We're working on it. It's in
You're
the
working
plan.
on it. Okay. All right. We'll be looking forward to it, Queen Drie. But this is a question I didn't ask in the beginning. I thought I asked. The name Queen Drie, where does that stem from?
Country. So my given name is Adrian, right?
Okay.
So I dropped the A and the N from it and just made it Dree. But the Queen, that's so interesting because, from Ghana, especially, I think it's a really big identity,
Yeah.
where people call you Ohima as to like, a sign of respect.
Yeah.
Then it affects the way we carry ourselves. Every woman
Yeah.
from Ghana has that, we carry ourselves really well because we
Yeah.
respect ourselves.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Queen Drie. This has been a very exciting and in-depth conversation, and I love conversations like these. I really appreciate you. I need to take a listen to this and then give you my feedback behind, the cameras. But I really appreciate this body of work that you have put out. Hopefully, your fans and new listeners would also appreciate. I hope this helps. Maybe it just might be the drug that everybody needs in this time of noise.
That's wonderful. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Thank you so much.
You're
This has been
welcome.
amazing.
You're welcome. All right. Lovely people. My name is Sofa, and this has been a very beautiful conversation with the beautiful Queen Drie. I hope this helps us out now. Check out on all DSPs. Take a listen and run up the numbers. Like I always say, support Ghanaian music. Because she's not here doesn't mean she's not Ghanaian. You don't wait for her to blow before you come and claim her. Support her now. Do you hear what I said? Support her now. Okay. This has been a lovely conversation. I'll catch you another time. Adios. Bye.